Hi, welcome back to the podcast, Social Sanity or Lack Thereof. Today we are talking about how our kids want to drive and they're driving us crazy. I'm Ashley.
I'm Christy, and this is Social
and
Sanity.
Welcome. So, both of our youngest kids are 15. Mine's giving me the evil eye at the moment.
Classic 15-year-old.
Uh-huh. And sorry. 15-year-olds
She
are
couldn't be more
irritating.
yours than she could not be more yours
He is
with the
very my child.
mm-hmm.
I can't even do that
Love it.
properly. This is what we're doing now. This is what we're doing. It's hard.
Oh,
Anyway.
I'm not even gonna try. You did better than me.
But it's like, okay, so they want to drive. Nick has his permit.
Yes.
Bella tried her permit. We tried that whole online thing, the electronic permit test that I was very suspicious of. It did not seem legit because I was the proctor.
Yes.
Like,
Why were
okay.
they so strict when we got ours? But you could literally take a test that your parent is the proctor of, and they could totally give you the answer, and you could just pass it that way.
She asked me a bunch of questions. And I'm like, I don't even like the way that's worded. Hello, software
Right.
glitch. So she went upstairs so she could have some quiet concentration. The dogs won't leave her alone. I was walking around doing stuff. And then she come downstairs with crocodile tears and she was like, I didn't cross. And I was like, that was the
Oh,
first time you took it. And she was like,
yeah.
but it's scary to me to think of my child driving on the road. Um,
Yeah.
she likes to pull into the driveway. Why, bless you, child.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you, mommy. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's just it's hard for me to fathom. I mean, I get distracted when I'm driving. I took driver's ed. I've been driving for how old am I? 20 years. I've been driving for 20
Yeah.
years. Um, and I regularly almost get in accidents. People almost hit me. And I'm like, what the crap? Like, my child wants to operate a vehicle. I don't like that.
Yeah. A 30,000 pound
Mhm.
vehicle.
Mhm.
Or
Like,
however much they weigh. I don't know. I'm just throwing
Lord,
numbers
I
out
hope
there,
it
but I was
ain't
pretty
30.
sure 30,000 sounded good.
I hope
Or
it's
three
not 30
ton.
tons.
I don't know.
Mm.
Does anybody really know?
Somebody does. It
Tell
ain't me.
somebody
Mm.
do. Somebody at the weigh-in place. That's what they
Yeah.
do.
The way
Tell her do
stations.
not feel bad. Yes,
Mm.
and tell her do not feel bad because her auntie over here
Mm.
failed 3 times and passed on the fourth time for the driver permit.
Bless.
So
That's
yeah,
for the
and
permit.
that's girl. That test was hard. First of all, we had to take it. Like I know you got your license when you were like 18,
Mm-hmm.
but I got mine when I was 16. But when I was 15 and I was getting the permit, I was
Mm-hmm.
3 months from turning 16, and they made you take it on the computer the first time. And
Mm-hmm.
after that, apparently you could take it like as a written test if you failed it the first time on the computer, but that you had to make sure you took it on the computer. And I failed it, but I didn't know that little trick until I was like number three, like my third time failing. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody in there was like, it was an older man, and he was like,
Mm-hmm.
he said, "You should have taken the written test if you failed that many times." He said, "Do you know you could take the written after the first time?" And I was like, "No, sir, I did not know that."
And of course, they don't tell you that.
Of
They're
course
like,
they
just keep
don't.
failing it. It's fine.
Yeah, because you got to pay every time you take it, and if
Mm-hmm.
you get it or you don't get it, you still have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I finally passed on the fourth time because I took the written, and I think I missed like three or four, if that. But I will say,
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the driver manual, but
Mm-hmm.
And I was taking driver's ed at the time before I really like I just had started driver's ed in January and
Mhm.
I got my
Mhm.
permit before I actually started driver's ed. So I didn't have any like book learnings or nothing on it. And I skimmed the book. And when Nick was taking his test, I made him since October of last year,
Mm.
every single Sunday
No, dang.
he would read like a little section like for an hour and he would
Mhm.
take the practice tests that they have. I don't know
Mhm.
if Bella took any of those, but tell her to take some of those practice tests
Okay.
so she can get it down good. But Nick literally I when I proctored him, like, yeah, I could have easily just gave him the answers, but he was like, Mom,
Mm.
I don't want answers. He said, I need to know this stuff because if I don't know this stuff and I get on the road, I'm gonna have wrecks and I don't want to do that. And I was like, okay, I'm proud of you. And that's why I wanted him to study. I wanted him to pass it. I didn't know that he could take it online
Mm.
and that it would be proctored by us this entire
Mhm.
time. I thought he was going to have to go down there to do it. But he only
Uh,
had to go down there to get his permit after that. But
okay.
yeah, he didn't ask us anything. He literally went through the whole test and was like, I got this.
He knew his stuff.
He knew it. He knew it. But it was so many months of preparing.
Mm.
So, and I did not want him to turn out like his half sister, where she does not have a license and she's 21 and
Mm.
she had no desire in getting one while she was in
Mhm.
high school.
Yeah.
And don't think that I didn't catch any flack for that because apparently me and her dad are to blame for her not getting her driver's license that we
Excuse me?
should have yeah, we should have made her get her license and it's like make you. But
What?
if that had been anything else, you would have been like, "You don't need to make me do that," or something. You know what I mean? Like, "No, I'm not you literally told us that you didn't want to drive. You were scared to drive, especially after her dad had got into that accident. She did
Mhm.
not wanna drive." Um, and I kept telling her every year, I said, "You need to take driver's ed. I know you don't wanna drive, but you need to take driver's ed because you
Mhm.
need to know how to drive. Like, if you're
Right.
not gonna let me do it, then you need to take driver's ed."
Mhm.
Every single year, she would sign up for her classes, and guess what class she would not sign up for? Driver's ed. And when I said, "You need to sign up for driver's ed," every year, she would say, "Well, I wanna take this class because this is, an academic class, and this will get me credits to college and all this other stuff." Guess who didn't go to college and who has no plans on going? I said when she said, you should have made me do that." And my response was, um, sorry, no, because you chose not to take driver's ed. And she said, yeah, because I wanted to take all of the academic classes. I said, yeah, what good did that do you, miss? Guess who ain't in college and who has no plans to go?
I say nothing. I say shit. Okay. But these little teenagers think they know everything.
Girl, they do. I can't wait till that frontal lobe be fully developed, okay? When they are 25, did you
Girl.
know that the frontal lobe does not develop all the way till 25?
Mhm.
Girl,
I
and
was
we was
fully a
over here
mother.
popping out kids. Yes, we were
I
out
had
here
been a
popping
mother.
out kids,
And look, we're
popping them out like
had
heads.
another one. Had to. We had to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Before
Fully load,
25.
not
Before
fully
25.
developed, fully a child. A child
Yep.
with children.
Mhm. We grew up with our
Mhm.
kids, literally.
Exactly.
I feel like I for sure grew up with Justin.
Ugger.
Lord. That one was a
I
cha imagine, that's your first one being
Mhm.
special. What? I didn't even know how to take care of a kid, period,
Girl.
let alone
You
myself.
learn quick. You learn quick.
You do. You do. It was
Girl.
a blessing.
Mhm.
It was a
Exactly.
blessing.
Exactly.
But
So
yeah.
Trenton doesn't want to drive either. He has no desire to drive at this moment. I will say that.
Mhm.
He does want one of those electric bikes though. And I'm like, dude, I don't blame you because they seem really cool.
Yeah.
Um, everybody take a drink.
Dead.
But yeah, he's just like it's like he's like, I'm just afraid that like I might hurt someone if I do something wrong. And I'm like, and that's his tender nature. He
Yeah.
doesn't, you know, want
Oh,
to hurt anyone. He doesn't want to get in an accident. He doesn't want to cause any property damage, nothing like that. So that's basically why he wants to, you know, why he doesn't want to drive. And I don't
yeah,
blame him. It is scary. And like, and I remember wanting to drive simply because my mom complained so much about how she was my taxi.
yeah,
Because I had dance, I had choir, and then, academic crap. So
yeah.
she was like, "I drive you everywhere. You want me to take you all over the place?" And and I'm like, "Well, yeah, because you won't let me get my driver's license." She's like, "Well, what are you gonna drive?" I was like, "Your car?" She's like, "No, you ain't." She's like, "Also, I
Oh
don't
Lord.
exactly." She's like, "You can't drive, but I'm tired of taking you everywhere. Then why can't I ride with my friends?" And you like, "No, because they don't know how to drive." And I'm like,
How did she know?
"But they over here driving," and it's like most of them, like, teenagers have wrecks. It's a thing.
It
But
is a thing.
but it's just like I'm not trying to like go out and party. I just want to go to choir practice because
Yeah.
the show is like in a week and we're doubling up on practices and I'm gonna get in trouble for not going to friggin' choir practice. Choir practice for
Right.
school, not church. Um, but
I
yeah,
figured you
it
were talking
was
about school.
yeah, it was like clarifying for the pod. I was well, crap. Technically, I was in choir for church. There were three of us. Uh,
Okay. So you were a little what do they call it when they're a trio? A little trio.
yeah. Well, trio. We also did plays.
Aw,
That's
that's
for sure.
cute.
It was cute. We had to learn little lines and do little skits. I choreographed a dance once. That was weird.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Go off, sis. Okay.
but yeah, yeah, and then my daughter's boyfriend has his license,
Hmm.
and he's a good driver. He's very sweet. He's a good driver. He doesn't talk on the phone while he's driving, blah, blah, blah. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm like, the first time I see that little skinny tail boy peel out of this neighborhood and calling his mama, which he's not gonna do that. But I'm just saying I'm calling his mama.
Just
But
saying.
their friend unfortunately had an accident and got his license, his newly acquired license, revoked.
Really? What did he
Oh,
do to get it revoked?
excuse me, suspended. Apparently, he had too many tickets or accidents. He had too many accidents. Sorry, Bella's sitting in my
Oh
office
Lord.
chair correcting me.
Okay. Okay.
So apparently, he had too many accidents and his license is suspended. It's like, how did you go get okay, three?
But damn, that's a lot to have when you just got your license.
Just got his license, just got his car, and apparently his car is very broken now.
Oh damn. I bet his ass got broken too by his mama.
I don't know. I don't know. I've never met his mom, but I'm like,
If that had been my mom, she would have broke my ass. She would
I
have
would have
broke. She
got
would have gave
beat.
me an extra crack.
It had superfluous fistula or something because oh my god, um, beat beat down, beat
Yes,
down.
on
Never
all
been
ass
able
beat
to.
down, girl.
I'm trying to put on
Mm.
this jacket. And I can't tell if it's upside down or not because I ripped the tags out of all my jackets.
I guess you're gonna figure it out when you get it on. I'll
It's
let
like,
you
where is
know.
it? Oh, I found it. Okay. This is not
I said
mine.
that looks
This
like a
has a
hood.
tag in it. Is this yours? Have I been wearing a jacket? Lord, I hope not, because it'd be too small. No, this is mine. This is mine. I left the other tag. I give up.
She was gonna put her cape on, and then she decided, no.
I give up. I give up. The arms were inside out, so I give up.
Oh, ain't nobody taking time for that shit.
No, I'll just be cold. It's fine. Anyway, speaking of driving the children into, or excuse me, the children driving us into social insanity. Um, it's just like like it's like a rite of passage, you know? Like
Yeah,
it's like, like they gotta drive if they want
they
to go
gotta.
places.
Yeah.
Question for you. Are you gonna
Mhm.
let Nick take Justin anywhere?
No, answer that right off the bat. Here is the thing. It's not even like Nick has already made comments like when we are out, like if I let Nick drive, he's only okay. So we only let him drive around the neighborhood, or we
Mhm.
only have before he actually got his permit. We let him drive around the neighborhood because
Right.
we were trying to get him some skills before he actually got out on the road.
Mhm.
Well, I let him drive home from his work last week. Girl, my my entire head is going to be full of gray hair because that boy was dependent
Mhm.
on me to tell him everything. And he told me, he said, Mom, you're going to have to tell me when I'm doing good and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll tell you when you're doing good. And I'm also going to let you know, like, what to do as you're like driving because he's never been out in traffic, you know?
Mhm.
And that boy does not know how to like look for traffic, apparently. And
Mhm.
I about like shit my fucking pants, like grabbing onto the damn dash. I was holding on like this.
Mhm.
He He did not go over 25.
Oh.
Yeah, speed limit was 40. And when we pulled out, we were pulling out of the parking lot, and
Mhm.
there's a red light that was back that way. Everybody
Mhm.
was stopped at that red light. So I was like, oh, you're good. Just stay in this lane, the
Mhm.
right lane. He said, okay. He went by what I said. He didn't look. He just pulled out. He just went by what I said.
Oops.
I got to get him in the habit of looking, girl, because that right there terrified
Mhm.
the hell out of me. And I said, "Look, I know I told you, I know I told you that it was okay, but don't
Mhm.
ever trust anybody to tell you that
Mm-mm.
it's okay to pull out somewhere. Look
Mm-mm.
for yourself, please,
Yep.
for the love
And
of
look
God."
and look twice. Don't
Yes,
just because sometimes people be speeding and then they'll come out of nowhere and then you're like, where did that car
girl,
come
they do.
from? And I'm like,
Yes, I've had that happen on so many occasions. That shit come out of nowhere, and I'm like, like it frightens
mm-hmm.
me because I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting someone to run up my asshole. Not
Girl.
today,
It's like
but
no. Mm.
he made the comment that
Mm.
he does not think he can drive if Justin is in the back seat, and he said the
Uh,
reason why is because of Justin being loud and with his
mm-hmm.
iPad. He's like, I can't drive hearing that, and
Right.
I'm like, he said, I don't know how you drive without wrecking with him
Mm-hmm.
being as loud as he is, and I'm like, well, that's something I had to
They're
learn
used
how
to
to
it.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've driven before with my arm like in the back seat trying to get him back in his seatbelt while I'm going down the interstate 80 miles an
Mm-hmm.
hour. Like I've literally had to do that before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm like, when you start driving, like you'll get used to it. Like you just have to give it time. Like you're still learning.
Mm-hmm.
This will all come over time. Like I don't even know how long it took me before I realized that like, oh, like when I'm stopped at this light, that means that like if I'm stopped here, if I'm in the left turning lane and I've
Mm-hmm.
got a red light, then that means that, traffic is probably like stopped here or going there. Like I don't even remember when that happened. Like I don't remember knowing that as a
Mm-hmm.
teenager that like I could predict what people are doing at the red light, like who's going and when I'll be next type
Mm-hmm.
thing. I don't even remember when that was a thing. I don't know how that I acquired that skill, but that
Mm-hmm.
comes over time. When
Right.
you've been driving for so long, you just know, like you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm going to be at this red light for 5 seconds before, you know, it
Mhm.
turns green. Or if you're in Murfreesboro, I'll be at this light for 20 minutes before it turns green. Here's looking at you, Burrow.
And then, don't be the only car in the turning lane because you won't get to go. Ah, you're welcome.
Exactly. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And there's 3-second yellow lights, and there's like 4-second yellow lights. Apparently, there's
Mhm.
or 6 seconds. I don't know. I don't know, but there's a big world of difference between the two, and you never know
Yes.
which one you're gonna get.
Mhm. And it's like some of
Um,
these big intersections have like 3 seconds. Like, you
mhm.
got 3 seconds to get across there, and don't try
Yeah.
to beat it because you're not gonna beat it.
Yep.
Don't do it.
And then
Don't do it.
and when you if you try to stop at it,
Mhm.
everybody's gonna hit their forehead on the back seat. Like, they're all gonna be like,
Everybody.
"Pow." Yes.
Your purse is gonna be on the floor upside down with all your
It's gonna
stuff
knock your
just
tampon out, like, all of that.
gonna knock the tampon out.
Knock your tampon out. Girl, like, seriously.
Mm,
And that's how I feel about potholes too.
mm,
Um, Potholes are ridiculous. But, yeah, I don't think I'll let him. I don't think he's gonna be able to do it. I feel like he and I that's another thing I worry about with him.
mhm,
Like, okay, I know that Nick and I are both ADHD, but, like, the thing is, at least I'm functioning and I can drive and not be, like, distracted by sounds, you know what I'm saying?
mhm.
I am
Yes.
worried about Nick. I am
Mm,
worried that he is going to hear sounds of the road, and he's, like, gonna be too distracted trying to figure out what that sound is and not paying
mhm.
attention to the road or something. Not that he's done it yet, because he hasn't had a
Right.
chance to do it, but
Right.
that's what I worry about, is that he's not gonna be able
Mhm,
to concentrate because of hearing everything around him
mhm,
and whatever, like,
mhm,
I don't even know if he would be able to drive with, like, the radio. Like, he when we drive around our neighborhood, he drives with the radio on, but he doesn't
mhm.
turn it up. It's just barely up. And
Okay.
I'm like, "Okay, I get that." When you're trying to
Mhm,
concentrate, you
mhm.
don't want it all the way up, but
Right.
yeah, I do worry about him a little bit, and
Mhm,
he said when we went driving that day,
mhm,
we were turning onto this road that it's like you go downhill and then it's a curve. It's not sharp. Like, it's not
mhm.
one of those kiss your ass curves. Like,
Right.
it's just a curve, but it is,
Mhm,
like, a little sharper than normal curves, but just not a kiss your ass curve,
mhm.
if that makes sense. But
Yes.
I don't really brake when I go around that curve because the speed
Mhm,
limit's only 30, and so if you're going 30, you're getting pretty good around that curve if you just
mhm.
stay 30.
Right.
Well, he had gotten up to like 20 or 25 right before
Mhm.
we got to that curve. And girl, he done made a full damn stop before he turned the curve. And I was like, Nick, honey, you're gonna have to step on the gas a little bit. Take
Right.
that big size 15 shoe and step on that gas pedal.
Not a size 15.
Girl, that whole big size 15. Um, and before we turned onto that road,
Mhm,
I told you that he wasn't going over 25.
mhm,
These people that came from that red light that were stopped,
mhm,
they were right up our ass, and it was like this one person was right up our ass, and I was like, and I said, Nick, honey, you're gonna have to go a little bit faster because you're only going 25 and speed on 40. So
mhm.
he steps on the gas to go a little bit, and of course we're like this, and I'm
Right.
like, oh god, and then there's like a red light coming up or whatever, but that person behind us was literally just being an asshole because that whole lane in the right side, they could have
Mhm,
easily gotten over and past us already, but they didn't
mhm,
because there was nobody in that lane. Like,
mhm,
go around.
mhm,
If you see somebody is driving that slow, go around. And I'm worried with this day and age that
mhm.
somebody's going to be road raging and they're going to pull out a gun because we're
Yeah.
going too slow. You know,
Mhm.
I bought one of those bumper
Yeah.
magnets
I
that
was
says
gonna ask
student
you
driver
that.
on it. Yeah,
Mhm,
I bought those off of Amazon because I was
mhm.
like, I can't take a chance. But then I'm like thinking, and because Nick was the one that put it in my head, he was like, "Do you really think that's going to stop somebody from putting a bullet in my head, Mom?" I mean,
I
he's probably
don't
not wrong,
I
but damn.
mean, but still, like, dang, you didn't have to say it out loud. Like, these are things mothers worry about, and then he's like,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but still, I think it gives people pause at least that it's like, oh,
Yeah,
hey, this is someone who's probably nervous, who probably doesn't feel totally comfortable with driving. Maybe I should not be an
an
absolute
asshole
dick.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
hopefully. But then again, I've been out, so I keep that on my car. So, because I
mhm,
don't want to keep putting it on every time he drives, I'm not going to remember. So I just keep it
exactly.
on there, right? So
Mhm.
I'm out here driving. So somebody out there probably thinking I'm a student, which I don't give a fuck. Think whatever you want to think.
Like, whatever.
But they're still
Mhm,
assholes
mhm.
because they've literally been assholes to me while I had the student driver magnet on my car. And I'm like, really?
People just don't care. I also think that people are way more thoughtless than we realize. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, they
Yeah,
don't consider another person's perspective, or they don't consider, "Oh, this is probably a 15, 16-year-old new driver that is probably
right.
struggling with acceleration, clearly, because 'cause they're going 25 miles per hour." Like,
Exactly.
but I just feel like people don't think about that, and they're only concerned with, like, their own little sphere of existence and what they wanna do. But
Yes. Girl, that is fact. It seems like everybody is always on a mission to get wherever they gotta go really, 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 really fast.
yeah.
I am never like that because of the fact that I work from home. So it's not like I have to be in an office and fight traffic to get to work.
Mhm.
So I'm so used to that being my life for the last like 3.5 years
Mhm.
that when I go out and I drive, I don't care where I have to go. Like, I'm not in a hurry. And so
Mhm.
you're not going to piss me off. Like,
Mm-mm.
I'm just, moseying about my business. I'm going the speed limit, or sometimes I go over. And if I'm on the interstate, I go about 30 over, but that's besides the point.
Good lord. I do get
Girl,
carried
Nick said he saw it get
away.
up to 110 one time. I was like,
Whoops.
did I?
Lead foot.
Did I really? I know.
Uh,
Did I just forget it was still mashing? I don't know.
Oopsie. No, girl. My little Honda CRV scootabout will go, I think, up to 120 miles per hour. And
Mhm.
on 840, especially early in the morning when there's no cars, or late at night when there's no cars, I'm just
Cruising.
zoom. No, just having a good old time driving
Girl, it
at
be
top
like that. When it's
speed.
an open road, yeah, when it's an open road, I'm like, this is a vibe.
Right?
You
Like
just
I
keep
fully
going because you don't have anybody slowing you down.
exactly. Like fully dissociated, just having a grand time driving. I'm like, "Oh, how fast am I going?" You know? But our time is drawing to a close. Um, what's I was gonna ask you something else, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, I just remembered.
Hmm.
We were gonna do the bizarre facts. I just had a few.
Yes, some bizarre
Let's
facts. Tell me
take a
some bizarre.
break and we'll come back. Do
Okay,
the bizarre.
and we're back, and Christy is going to regale us with some bizarre facts.
Yes, I've got some bizarre facts. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know that a typical jar of peanut butter
Mhm.
contains 10 or more rodent hairs, averaging one or more rodent hairs per 100 grams? So a regular size jar of peanut butter may contain hundreds of insect fragments.
That's why my dog likes peanut butter so much. That explains a
Looking for
lot.
the insects. Dead. You know what? I'm not a
Ew.
big peanut butter eater, but
Right.
I do like the Lotus cookie butter. Have you ever had that?
Cookie butter?
Girl,
She's
have you ever had the Lotus cookies?
mm-mm.
If you Google it and you see the type of cookie I'm talking about, I'm sure you probably have seen it at least, or you might have had it at some point. Girl, they are so good, and they make the cream in a jar. And I use that. I put it on my oatmeal. I put that on everything. It is so good. Now, see, they said peanut butter, but they didn't say nothing about cashew butter, and I'll be using cashew butter.
Do you mean the Lotus Biscoff?
Yes, the Biscoff. That's what it is. Yeah.
Biscoff cookie butter. Oh my. No, I've not
Yes.
had those before.
Girl,
Um,
they dangerous.
Yeah, better stay away from him.
Okay. The average person walks by almost 16 murderers in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And I found all of this on BuzzFeed.
Mhm.
Tina from Facebook, don't know who she is, but what's up, Tina from Facebook?
Hey, Gary.
She says, she says, here's the math. Assuming you lived in an average size city, 10 new
Oops.
people per average lifetime span is like 71 now.
Mhm.
Um, that's equal to about 260,000 different people you might walk by. 260,000 people in a lifetime times 6 murderers per 100,000 people equals 15.6 murderers. So about 16. I wonder
That's
which ones we might have walked by.
creepy. I
Mhm.
don't know, but it's like, mm, that's creepy. That's a creepy
That is very
thought.
creepy. Yeah. Like, and you don't
Mm.
even know because they just be acting normal. Like, who
Right,
would
because
murder
they're just
somebody?
regular people. It's like,
Exactly. It's not like they have it stamped on their forehead.
exactly.
Um, okay. As recently as the 1980s, many researchers and doctors believed that babies couldn't feel pain. So some of them were operated on without anesthesia. Could you imagine that? Why wouldn't they feel pain? They're human.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
There's some back in the day, some archaic and masochistic sadist crap that went
Yeah.
on to women and children because they were like, oh, well, we don't really know what's going on. Let's just try something. Like, what is wrong with people?
Girl, they were crazy. Did you know that they used to do lobotomies on people that were just like bipolar or had mental illnesses?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm like, that is there was an episode of I think it was either Ghost Brothers
Mm-hmm.
or Ghost Hunters. I don't know, one of the two. That I was watching and they were like talking about the history of the place and
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about how they did lobotomies on people that were just like had depression, had
Mm-hmm.
bipolar, mental illnesses. And I was like, you have got to be flipping kidding.
Nope.
Like, what?
Nope.
And it was just
Like,
so that like if they took their brains out, they would act differently. Like when
mm-hmm.
they took them out and put them back in, they were
Mm-hmm.
like zombie like
Mm-hmm. Well,
or
it's like it
childlike.
was notorious. Like they would like ruin people because they thought like this would happen to people who were like mildly eccentric
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
like a little odd. And then people who
Yeah.
were actually mentally ill. And then people were like, well, what's wrong with them? And it's like, well, they're calmer now, so why do you care?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so glad that was outlawed because it's like, yeah, we
Hmm.
don't really want to do the whole ice pick in the eyeball thing. That's creepy.
Oh no, ma'am. I think
Yeah.
that was like American Horror Story one time.
Hmm.
They had like a season of that and they did
Hmm.
the you saying the ice pick made me think about it. The ice
Hmm.
pick in the eye or whatever, brain,
Yep.
whatever the fuck. I don't
Hmm.
know, but it was like, oh dear God. I'm
Hmm.
so glad we were not living in that
Yeah.
time.
I wouldn't have survived. I would have
Girl,
either
same. I was
like,
definitely meant
mm,
for this. Well,
mm,
I hate living in the United States right now anyway.
like,
I
girl,
think I need to be in Italy or something. Let's go
I
somewhere
need to go
else.
to Greece. Let's go to Greece.
Oh my God, that sounds
Let's go to
amazing. That
Greece.
would be so beautiful.
Like, I
Let's
don't want to
do
stay
it.
here. Let's do
Hey, I
it.
work from home. I ain't got nothing tying me down except for these damn kids.
That
They a
are
fend for
driving us
themselves.
crazy.
Exactly. Nick can drive everybody to the store to go buy food.
Right? Somebody else can do the Kroger pickup.
Exactly.
We'll just
Exactly.
be in Mykonos chilling.
Yes. Yes. I would love that. Greece sounds amazing.
Me
But I
too.
was definitely meant to like not live in those days. I would not have survived.
Mm-mm.
But did you know that you're more likely to be killed by a cow than by a shark?
Yes. I remember, if you recall, I used to live next door to some cows, and those were they weren't always docile
Were they
and
killer
cute.
cows?
Hmm. No, there was one that liked to be petted, and he was
Mhm,
huge. And like the chances of him like bumping into me and like crushing my head, because he was just massive. Like it was a huge
mhm.
bull. And like he would come to our like yard and like stand there and wait, because like they would get out and just be in our yard. And it's like, if a if a cow bumped into you against a hard surface, it would squish you like a bug, because they're just really heavy. And I'm like, yeah, not cut out to be a rancher. Not me.
Mm-mm,
Not me.
mm-mm. Ain't nobody trying to be a farmer.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
No. But see, I
No.
would be more likely to be killed by a shark because I don't be going around cows. I might live in Tennessee, but
But
mm-mm.
cows are cute.
I would be in the ocean. They are cute. Like when you pass them on the street, they're like, "Oh, that's
It's like, oh,
so
cows. But yeah,
cute."
no.
I'm more
Mm-mm.
likely to be killed by a shark because I be in the ocean anytime I get a chance. But I don't go too
Mm,
far out
yeah,
because I can't swim very well, so that's the thing.
right.
Okay, Big Bird
Mhm.
almost joined NASA's Challenger mission. Do you remember the Challenger mission? That was way back when.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. To encourage kids to get interested in space.
Mhm.
Had the plan been followed through, millions of kids would have watched Big Bird and the spacecraft explode. Feathers everywhere.
Like, I was trying to laugh because I was like traumatic. But like it was horrible. But then I was like, so many kids would have been like horrified
Devastated.
and
Yeah.
devastated. Like it would have been
They were
bad.
like, look at
It
all
would have
them
been
yellow
bad.
feathers.
It
Look at
would have
all
been
them
really
feathers.
bad. I think I think Big Bird would have been instantly disintegrated, because I'm pretty sure that costume was highly flammable.
There'd
Like,
been nothing left. They wouldn't have even known he was on there. They've been like, I don't
mm-mm.
even see feathers. Where's
Like
it at?
ball of fire and a beat.
Did you know that there's a conspiracy theory about the Challenger that those people did not actually die? Girl, there's like a whole thing. They've got pictures of these people that were on the Challenger
Mhm.
and what they look like now because they're not dead. Yeah. They found like these pictures like of these people. They're not even trying to go by different names. They're still going by the same names that they had back then.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you can blatantly tell it's them, like just older. Like they're
Mm.
and it doesn't look like it's an age progression picture or anything like that.
Mhm.
They are like legit. They have different types of jobs now. Like they all do different things. They don't work for
Mhm.
NASA anymore. But I
Mhm.
thought, what the hell? Look it up though. Um,
I'll do that.
I saw it on Joe Santagato's video. I don't know if you've ever watched any of his stuff on YouTube,
Mm-mm.
but if you look up the Joe Santagato show, I think it's what it's called. I don't remember.
Mhm.
Just look up Joe Santagato. He did a whole conspiracy theory episode. He made it funny, but people were like writing into him and telling him their things that they've heard, and then he
Mm.
talks about it, and they have like things that they like send in to back it up,
Mm.
and they showed the pictures, and then they were like, "Oh my god, like that's totally them." Like check it out. It's
Interesting.
worth watching. Yeah, it is very interesting. We need to do an
Interesting.
episode on conspiracy theories.
I have to say I will have a lot to say about that. I'm not a
Okay.
conspiracy theorist follower. I'm like,
Mm.
it's a theory and not fact, because it can't be proven.
Well, that's science in general too. Everything's
Right.
theory.
Everything's theory until it's
Everything in life is
proven.
theory. Yeah,
And
everything
I'm
in life is a
like,
fucking theory. What do
mm-hmm,
we know? Yeah, just I like to entertain the theories. Like I like to hear
mm-hmm,
them, just to
mm-hmm,
see what people think, what they're, you know,
mm-hmm.
whatever. They interest
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Like some of them are really interesting, but then some of them I'm like, I'm like,
Yeah, some
"You
of them I
off
can't get
your
on board with right off the
meds?
bat. Yeah.
Like, get
I'll be
back on
like,
your meds, my love, cause
yeah,
something's
I'll be like,
wrong."
GTFO.
And it's like,
Mm-mm.
sometimes I be just really, like, spiraling, and I'm like, "Did I take my medicine today?" Cause I done got into some theories and, like, assumptions and paranoia. I'm like, "Where's my medicine? I didn't take it today." That's
Maybe
how I
some of
feel
these
like.
people are not taking their meds.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. Well,
Do we
thanks
want to
for tuning
do
in.
Yes, thanks for listening and watching and, enjoying our podcast. We greatly appreciate our listeners. I looked at the analytics today, and we have to date 76 plays of various
Yay.
episodes.
I love that. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate
Right.
you.
If you want to follow us on YouTube, feel free to do so.
Yes.
Um, there's a poll option on Spotify. Um, look out for that. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.